how DaBaby became the most hated rapper ever. I personally was not aware of the fact that DaBaby was the most hated rapper ever. Genuinely had no idea. I know he's done some bad stuff. I know Dave Chappelle said in the stand-up that DaBaby killed a guy. But past that, I don't know too much. But I'm interested and I want to find out why. Can we play, please?
DaBaby has slowly become the internet's most hated rapper. What did he do to earn this title? Well, his actions range from insulting fans to getting angry at flight attendants. However, the very first thing that began to turn DaBaby's audience against him was the time he'd get into a beef with kids YouTuber Jojo Siwa. The argument began after DaBaby would post a song titled Beatbox.
I was not aware this person even existed. DaBaby's the one that, oh my god, what's that DaBaby song? You know what, I can't even remember the name of it right now. DaBaby, what is the name of that? He's got one song you'll probably know if you heard it. It wasn't Rockstar, was it? It might have been Rockstar. There's another one where the police, is it that one? The police are arresting him during it. Maybe that is Rockstar. I'm not sure. But there's a couple of songs which you would probably recognize of DaBaby's. He's had a couple of good songs. Well, I say good. He's had a couple of songs.
Freestyle, in which he'd hold up a photo of Jojo Siwa and call her a bunch of nasty names. The snippet was instantly shared to Twitter, where it gained over 1 million views and 42,000 likes on a post reading, "What TF did Jojo Siwa do that made DaBaby mad like that?" While some joked about DaBaby calling her out over a height insecurity, most were simply baffled that DaBaby would target a kid's YouTuber.
How old is DaBaby? How old? How tall is DaBaby? What is the, how tall? He's 5'8". 5'8" ain't that small. 5'6.5". Wait, is that why he's called DaBaby? Because he's small? 5'7", 5'6.5", 5'8". Okay. I wonder, like, why, if you're small and insecure about it, why would you call yourself DaBaby?
She's literally a child.
If I was small and insecure, I'd probably call myself something like the tall guy.
Kinda out of line, to be honest.
Something
Yo, that is funny
real,
AF.
you know,
He really came
thoughtful.
for a whole kid, which accompanied a post by James Charles reading, "Can someone please explain why DaBaby is dissing Jojo Siwa when she's 12 years younger, 10 times richer, and 2 inches taller than him?" Now, DaBaby had absolutely no business in responding to these comments, as they weren't really even criticism. A lot of the responses were supportive, such as, "I don't think he meant nothing of it, probably just needed something to say," and the others were simply surprised that
the way that SunnyV2 delivers all this information is so dramatic, and I'm here for it, man.
DaBaby went there, which is literally how DaBaby described his own branding.
I'm gonna say, I can't believe he said that.
However, despite also stating that he wasn't the type of guy to respond to things online,
when it's said outside of music and I'm expected to respond and clear it up without using music, that ain't what I do.
he'd still take to Twitter to squash the drama in a post reading, "It's Jojo Siwa. My 3-year-old princess is your #1 fan. I bought her every product you have out. She thinks she you. Don't let him trick you into thinking I'd ever have a problem with you. My wordplay just went over their heads. All love on my end, shorty, keep shining." Now, DaBaby's response was actually pretty decent, but since he never needed to respond in the first place, all it did was show everyone that he was paying attention.
Wait, he's called DaBaby because he really likes what? What's that? Some rapper names are just ludicrous, like Ludacris. I'll give you that one.
Attention to the drama, and was unable to stay silent if he was criticized too heavily. In the lead up to this tweet, DaBaby had established a reputation as a kind of hardcore gangster rapper, and to be on Twitter justifying why he made a diss on a kid's YouTuber felt kind of inauthentic to his image. DaBaby stated in an interview that he's doing his own thing and is not really caught up in any of the internet drama.
I'm just doing me, like I'm not even really caught up in what I got going on.
Yet in a different interview, he contradicts this by stating that he's willing to change his opinions if the internet criticism becomes too harsh.
It's about how much you value others' opinions on the internet, or just, you know, people's opinion around you. I don't value it until they get to messing with my money. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. You know, now you probably need to take heed to that, you know, make some adjustments.
While this is so...
Why would you say that publicly? That you are willing to change who you are for money? I'll change all my opinions for money. I'll change all my opinions if you're taking away my money. That's crazy to me. Hey, Philip. Yes, indeed. That's crazy to me, dude.
certainly a more mature approach, maturity is rarely what people are looking for in music and entertainment. I could be wrong about this, but it often feels as though the personality of the person making the music is just as important as the music itself, and when it comes to hardcore rap, people want to follow the completely unapologetic gangster as opposed to the person who's known for responding to criticism on Twitter. This point feeds perfectly into his response to the Rolling Loud controversy, which happened only 4 months after the incident with JoJo Siwa. Whilst on stage, DaBaby would imply that people with HIV weren't welcome at his shows, and since the event was being—
I remember this. I was surprised that people were surprised by this, to be honest. Like, it's pretty well known that, well, at least, you know, up until recently, I guess, like the rap community does not like gay people. It's pretty well known, I feel. At least the black rap community does not like gay people. Pretty well known. If you don't believe me, go and listen to DMX's songs. Ooh, just to be clear, I love DMX. Rest in peace. I loved all his music. To be honest, I was like listening to it recently when I was listening to it in the car. Dude, I was driving down the road with my lady with DMX on, and his song was playing, had the music up loud, and then some of his lyrics started coming out about different things about gay people, and I went, whoa, and then he turned this down. Dude, yeah. So I'm surprised that people were surprised by this, you know? I'm surprised, but I'm surprised people were surprised.
The internet began to discuss the comments immediately. Now, as mentioned in other videos, if DaBaby had simply stayed silent on the criticism, the problem would have disappeared. However, just like the JoJo Siwa controversy, he felt the need to clarify his position with a public statement.
I'm gonna address this one time, and I'm gonna get back to giving my love to my fans. See what I'm saying? Because what me and my fans do at the live show, it don't concern you. It's not y'all business. What I do at a live show is for the audience at the live show. It'll never translate correctly to somebody looking at a little 5-6 second clip on their phone. It just don't work like that.
This Instagram live stream—
he should have just said, oh, this clip lacks context. The way that he's putting this, I mean, I don't know what the context could possibly be to justify what he said. I can't even imagine. But the defense of like, oh, you weren't there, you don't know what it really meant,
only led to more people discovering what he had said, and shortly thereafter, celebrities such as Elton John, Madonna, and Dua Lipa were stating on Instagram that they were surprised and horrified.
I also feel like if you're going to say, hold on, you guys weren't there, doesn't translate, you can't get all the information from a 5 to 6 second clip, I feel like the next thing you need to do is then post the full thing so we can get the full context. But if you're not, then I assume
at DaBaby's
there
comments.
is no context.
DaBaby stated that he wasn't worried at any
I assume
point
there is
during the
none.
Rolling Loud
I don't know how you can.
Were you kind of scared, like how everyone was like trying to cancel you and shit like that?
Nah, I wasn't scared. That was probably my problem.
However, this is a complete contradiction to his actions, because if he wasn't scared, he wouldn't feel the need to take to Twitter and apologize, which is what he would do after the Instagram live stream. I want to apologize to the LGBTQ+ community for the hurtful and triggering comments I made. Again, I apologize for my misinformed comments about HIV/AIDS, and I know education on this is important.
I don't believe he wrote that. I've heard him talk a little bit in this video. That was not written the way he talks. I'm very surprised by this. Oh God, this is... yes, very true, Ryan. HIV is not a gay disease. That is misinformation that was spread in like the 80s, 90s. Yeah, DMX did rap about a few things. But yeah, homophobia and misogyny are of course very, well, used to be very prevalent in rap. I don't know if they are so much anymore. Not that I really keep up to date with any of it, so I just put, you know, whatever plays on YouTube plays on YouTube.
argument. Going back to the problem of authenticity, DaBaby would go on to state that he didn't even agree with his own apology.
Even though, you know, I don't agree with it, you feel me? Like, you know, if this the example.
Of course you don't agree with it. You didn't write it. Someone wrote it for you and said you should say this, and you said, well, if I post on Twitter, did I say it? And the person said, yeah, so you posted it, and it's kind of like you said it, but of course you don't agree with it.
But it got to be made if this is what God want me to go through, you feel me? For whatever reason, let's do it, I'm with it.
And that he only put it out because at a certain level, you have to move in a different way.
You get this.
Here's the real problem. This is a very deep topic, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to put the question out there, because the question is more interesting than the argument to me. Here's the question, here's the problem. What is worse? I think we know what is worse, but the question is still on my mind. What's worse? DaBaby saying what he said and then fake apologizing, or someone like Kanye saying what he said and not apologizing and then leaning into it? Both are pretty bad. A case of the stupids, Chief Lazarus, is a very good way of putting it.
Certain levels in it, you know, you got to make adjustments. You know?
I wouldn't say a case of the stupids. I'd say a case of the ignorance, you know. Lack of education in these topics, lack of an open mind, lack of willing to open your mind, and an inability to allow people to see you any other way than the way that you want people to see you.
You know what I'm saying? And move a certain way. It's simple, you know?
Ironically, he's talking to Charlemagne, who wrote a book on how living an authentic life is the quickest path to success, which is something that DaBaby himself highlighted as the reason behind why he's been so successful.
What makes you different?
Nah, man, I'm
like,
just
why do you
me,
have that drive?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just me.
Yet going back on his own statements and posting insincere apologies was the opposite to being his authentic, brutal rapper image.
As a rapper, somebody who can speak freely, and I'm not one to do all that hard work day in, day out, make all these sacrifices, get there just to be controlled like a puppet, you know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't how I get out.
Now, it didn't seem like DaBaby actually had any problems with the people he called out.
Anybody from the LGBTQ community, any of that, bro, I am not tripping on y'all. I ain't never had an issue with none of y'all. It wasn't directed to no group of people in particular and nothing like that. Like, it really ain't that deep at all to me.
However, because he blew the whole thing up with a bunch of his own social media attention,
I'm so confused. This man is so all over the place. I cannot keep track of, I don't think this dude knows what he knows and doesn't know. I think this man's opinions change every single minute.
the brands he was working with began to drop him one by one. Fashion brand Boohoo publicly ended their relationship with him. Lollapalooza dropped him from the lineup on the very last day of the festival, citing their founding values of diversity, inclusivity, respect, and love. The Governor's Ball Music Festival, set to take place in September, announced that DaBaby would not be performing as part of their lineup. UK event Parklife cut him from the roster, though the rapper's team claims that the decision was made months before Rolling Loud. The team behind Day and Night Vegas replaced his setlist with that of Roddy Ricch. Even the Working Families Party quickly removed him from the list of celebrity performers, and on the Full Send podcast, DaBaby explained that he was set to release his own meal at Burger King, which was also cancelled as a result of the controversy.
What? Why would you... Burger King? Your own meal? I mean, if you're releasing your own meal at Burger King, I think it's safe to say that you're not the person that you portray yourself as. You are just doing anything you can for money at that point. How are you going to release a Burger King meal? For the love of God, you're a rapper.
I had my own meal at Burger King. A lot of people don't know that. It was called the Jonathan Kirk meal. They wanted to use my name. I shot a commercial for it and everything. They had my name on the box, everything.
Did it come out?
No, that's when all the controversy.
In a different interview, DaBaby gave a dollar figure for how much his comments had cost him.
I had $30 million worth of shows on the schedule before December 31st. I was finna buy my private plane, but it is what it is. It go how it go. You know, God ain't want me to have my plane yet. He's like, hold on, man, just chill.
And while DaBaby clearly took the loss in a very respectable manner, this seemingly did little to repair his reputation, as after being invited back to Rolling Loud 6 months later, the crowd threw drinks at him. However, the worst part about the controversy was, from that point onwards, DaBaby was berated on Twitter for almost anything he'd do. For example, people brought up the time where he'd attack a fan at a club for putting a flashlight in his face, resulting in another apology video.
I do
do sincerely apologize. Keep in mind, I couldn't see you.
Accompanying an
Why? Oh, I'm so confused as to why you would claim that you live life as you, but then apologize for everything that you do. That's so confusing to me. Surely if you do something wrong, you learn from it, and you go, hey, I learned from this experience. Yeah, maybe you apologize at the end of that, but this guy apologizes. I feel like this guy, oh, I'm so sorry, Wind. This man apologizes for everything.
Another bizarre clip of him.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm saying that he's apologizing for everything. No wonder people are being so critical of him, because they can get him to apologize at the drop of a hat.
Being rejected whilst trying to kiss a fan, which also warranted some kind of strange Instagram response to the event.
And he just kept making mistake after mistake after mistake. After mistake, after mistake.
There was also the time where he'd make what seemed to be a satirical tweet stating that he was voting for Kanye, which warranted responses such as, "Waste, I can't believe you're even promoting this. Baby, you got too big of a platform to be tweeting this nonsense. Bruh, you're not even eligible to vote," which accompanied a different, more recent video where he'd get angry at a flight attendant for not combing her hair.
We gonna pay all that for that flight, you gonna comb your head. Straight up, they nah, dog. We gonna pay all that. Go comb your head, the least you could do.
Hold the phone. How are you talking about anyone's hair when this is what's on your head? You look like someone stuck a plunger to your head, they couldn't get it off, so they just put their hair around it. Who are you to talk about hair? Oh my God!
Comb your head, the least you could do.
This is probably part of the reason why DaBaby believes that social media can become a negative thing once you reach
We got a unicorn over here!
just certain
I'm done.
size.
But at some point, I think like it may be safer for you not to use it as much because you can become overexposed.
But the real question is, how has this affected the performance of his music? Well, his latest album released in September 2022, which was titled Baby on Baby 2, sold only 16,000 units in its first week, which is 87% less than Baby on Baby 1, which sold 124,000 units in its first
good,
week. The music
but
video for one of the songs on his new album titled Boogeyman features 5 different people, one of which being an obviously gay person, and throughout the video everyone is killed besides the gay guy, before DaBaby daps him up at the end, says I ain't got a problem with you, and once again apologizes for the rolling loud comments. The whole thing
Oh my God, it's so cringe! Oh my God, it's so cringe! This guy, dude, I don't think the title of this video should have been the most hated rapper. I think it should be the most pathetic person. This guy doesn't understand that there's a difference between apologizing and owning up to. And thinks that you can just apologize your way out of every... This is crazy.
thing just feels extremely performative and insincere, with this clear attempt at avoiding controversy.
It's the
only
fakest
resulting
man
in
on the
more
planet.
Controversy. Because alongside his new album's poor release, DaBaby announced that he had to cancel one of his shows after selling only 500 tickets to a venue which seated 14,000. Going to a DaBaby concert because I need some alone time, and I know no one else will be there. If I put all my followers...
That's the best burn I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God.
to a DaBaby concert because I need some alone time, and I know no one else will be there. If I put all
That's beautiful.
my followers in a room and sang a little song to them, then I'd have a more successful concert than DaBaby. DaBaby concert was lit. However, to DaBaby's credit, he's taken his setbacks quite humbly, having replied to his lower album sales by stating, "Not bad for the blackballed baby." There are a lot of people who have covered in the past that are clearly deserving of their poor reputation.
I would say that that's not really taking it well, saying not bad for the blackballed baby. He's basically saying it's sort of like what I would say. That's sort of like what an Alex Jones does, you know, like I am the most banned network, I'm the most banned network that there is. That, you know, that's how he promotes himself. Like, oh, look, I've been banned everywhere. They're trying to shut me down type of thing. That's more what that seems like than like I didn't do too bad this week.
Blackballed baby. There are a lot of people who have covered in the past that are clearly deserving of their poor reputations, but you could argue that DaBaby isn't really one of them. He's a hard worker with a library of incredibly well-made music, yet he's been unable to keep his mouth closed on controversial topics, which only compounds when you compromise your integrity and change your personality to suit whatever the audience wants you to be.
Yeah, dude, the fact that this man is just apologize after apologize after apologize rather than owning up to it, moving on and proving that he's changed, changed is crazy to me. You either admit you're wrong or you don't admit you're wrong. If you admit you're wrong, apologize, explain how you'll be better, or just say how you'll be better. This is not a difficult thing to do. This man hasn't changed a bit and seems like he's doing anything he can in order to get back into the spotlight. Everything apart from, I don't know, showing how he's changed. It's wild to me. I don't know. DaBaby is I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if I had, you know, everyone has basic human respect for everybody. As a business person, as a person in terms of, you know, how do I put it? As a person in terms of, you know, being who you are, your authentic self, however you want to put it, I have no respect for him in those terms. He's not himself. He's whoever he needs to be in order to make money. He said it himself. And all his actions continue to show that. It's kind of like pathetic, to say the least. I hope, you know, I like some of his music. Separate, you know, the artist and the art. But, man, that was rough, dude. It was rough.